All right, thinking about growing things in this garden now. So immediately I brought in a chair because there's something about being in the midst of what's growing that's just beautiful and relaxing and therapeutic. Yeah, okay, so it's planting day. I've gotten us to a point, if you've been following along chapter by chapter, where we've oriented our space, we've nuked all the grass or weeds with cardboard and chips, we've put in 3 beds, we've got 3 lines for dripping in one bed, 3 lines for dripping in another bed, and 2 lines for dripping in that bed, a total of 8. They're each about 4 meters long, so there's over 30 meters of lines, over 100 feet of rows we're going to plant, and in some cases we'll do 2 things beside each row, so it could be up to 200 feet of planting. And then, because we're doing this garden for a friend, we put together a planting plan, and I've gone you through that, showing you with the compass rose which way is south, which is that way. The little dotted lines are the water lines. We've put out everything from pole beans to potatoes that we're planning to plant. So with that as a plan, about 30 different items to consider, I put together a little sheet of paper with a list of everything I want to grow, and then I did 4 columns. I've got seeds, I've got starts, I need seeds, I need starts, and then I dug through my stuff. What seeds and starts did I have? What seeds and starts did I need to go purchase or get from friends? So I've got everything assembled now. I've got seeds and starts. I've got a watering can to give first water. I've got a whole lot of cardboard which is going to be going down on each of the beds to cover and protect as much of the soil as possible, and we'll get in future times talking about caring for the soil and building it through the whole growing season, so we're always putting more into the soil than what we're taking out. And then 2 handy dandy little things for what I'm planting. I've got some lime, because my area on the west coast of North America tends to get acidified over time. I usually need a little bit of lime in the soil when I plant. And anything that's a seedling getting started that you're putting in the ground, it's going to need some traction for its roots to kind of take hold. And so one of the best things is you need some phosphorus, which is bone meal, right? Bone meal or rock phosphate will give you that. So that's going to be especially helpful getting the transplants in, and also with beets. As we plant just seeds and starts and put them in, I'll just talk through each of the things I plant, a hint or a tip or 2 to go with each one so that it kind of makes sense what we're doing and why. And again, there's no right or wrong on seeds or starts. It's just time and budget, kind of what pace you want to go at. So I've done a mix of both. We're just going to jump in, and I'm going to start in this bed right here with some pole beans on the back row and planting away, and we'll go from there. So getting ready to plant pole beans, the first thing I'm doing after I took out this volunteer tomato that was here is removing the sacks that have been protecting the soil while I got ready, because if your soil's not growing anything, I always believe it should be protected. So I'll pull the sacks out of here where the row of pole beans is going to be, and then I'm going to position cardboard where these beans are going to be. And for now, just to get set up, I'm going to position the cardboard with the hoses or the drip lines on top, but that's just to mark or sketch out. Once I've got where these are going to go, overlapping all the time so that no light is going to get through, I'm going to figure out right where the drip line is going to go, and then I'm going to mark where every drip is. And with that, I'm going to be ready to know exactly where every seed is going to be planted in this row. And remember, there's a seed every 30 centimeters or every foot. And from that, I'll cut a hole just big enough to pound the pole for the pole bean in, and to put the seeds around the pole. And there will be no opportunity for any weeds to grow anywhere else in that row, and it'll suppress all the moisture. We are rocking. So I've marked where each dripper is going to be, and all I'm doing is cutting a hole where I can put my pole and my pole bean seeds in around the pole, and that'll be the only soil that's exposed, right? So you can see the size of that hole. It's only about, maybe 15 centimeters square. And as soon as we've got all our square holes cut out, we'll put the drip line underneath, and then we'll plant without puncturing it. So this will be right underneath there, and the drip is right in that spot. so it'll retain all the moisture. There'll be no weeds to compete with. So it takes a bit of work to get going, but man, you'll never have to weed through the whole season. So remember, we're planting pole beans. I've tucked the drip line underneath the cardboard now, and I made some poles. Now, I was working on a construction project and I had leftover 2x4s. This is 1/3 of a 2x4 put through a table saw. And it's about, oh, I don't know, 2.5 meters tall. So once it's sunk into the ground, it'll be about 7 feet, a bit over 2 meters tall. You can use bamboo stakes, you can use metal fence posts, whatever works. All I did then was sharpen up the ends, so you can see it's nice and sharp. And then I'm just taking it and jamming it into the hole right at the back of the cardboard square that I'd made. And then as I'm just going down the row, pretty straightforward, just cruising up here on a ladder, schwacking them in. Some of them are different heights because the 2x4s I cut up are different heights. And once they're in, 30 to 45 centimeters, nice and solid to hold up the beans we're going to plant against them. We're good to put in the next one, so we're almost ready to plant seeds. So you can see the drip line is running here underneath the cardboard. My on tap here, and there's a drip at every post. Now the problem is that the black line will curl and it'll kind of expand and contract with the heat of the season. So you have these little staples like this, and if you're careful and you don't puncture the cardboard, you can just put them through in a few places where you think that the there, and then it's not going to go away on you. And then what I'm going to do is take, these are pole bean seeds, and I didn't save any of my own. I mostly grow dry beans, but these are for fresh eating. And so around each post, and remember the south is heading this way, I'm going to put in a seed east and west and south. I just won't put one on the north. So I'm actually going to put 3 seeds around the post, and then the water, when it drips out of here, will drip right on and soak those seeds down. And hopefully all 3 seeds will just be a trio of buddies that'll climb up the post. So generally the rule of thumb when you're planting seeds is that you want to get them into the ground and cover them roughly with their own depth of material. So as long as you've got enough to cover them up, and especially so birds don't get them, pat them down, and then we'll just put some water on them, and that's all you got to do, and you got 3 pole beans that are going to grow up that pole there. There you go.